so our next comedian is born and raised here in Toronto. Wow, a lot of people from Toronto here today. So, and he thought stand-up would be a great way to get out of the city. Right. Please welcome Robbie Lowenstein. Oh, the applause has stopped.
Hey folks. So I went on a canoe trip with 8 of my buddies last weekend. It's a trip we do every single year. And we went to Temagami. We lived on this beautiful island for 3 days and 3 nights. We didn't see a single other soul. And people ask, because we get a bit testosterone-y, all guys. So when we're canoeing out, we for the first time actually see some other people. We see a couple of canoes in the water. And my buddy's like, yeah, I think I see like the silhouette of a girl in one of the canoes. Is her sleeve rolled up? I think I can see a bit of her arm. So what are you suggesting? You suggesting we go pirate them? I was like, what do you mean pirate them? Like rape the women and make the men walk the plank? Like, no, that's so short-sighted. We'll rape the women and make the men clean our shitter. Meanwhile, another one of our canoes with a couple more of our buddies pull up. And my other buddy's like, you see the arm on that girl? And of course we have no regard whatsoever for how well sound carries across a flat lake. So the other canoe, the strangers in the canoe are getting a little bit closer. I raise my hand. Like, hey folks, how you doing? Dead silence. In fact, they just seem to start paddling a little faster. And my buddy's like, wow, people aren't really friendly around here. So anyway, so I'm still single. And you know, since the last time, obviously, like Tinder's come out, and I find that the dating process has gotten even more disingenuous and silly. Because before, at least, people would write a bit about themselves. You'd have a couple paragraphs, you have some information, you have something to go off of when you write people. Now, when you're choosing someone purely based on pictures, what can you say that's genuine other than, based on your pictures, I'd like to fuck you. And I'm hoping it also turns out that you're a cool person. So I can tell you, I haven't tried it, it doesn't work very well. So instead what you have is a bunch of strangers who just keep messaging each other, so how was your weekend? How was your weekend? Over and over, anyone in the online dating scene knows this. And it's just ridiculous, because I refuse to believe any stranger cares about how my weekend was. And it's even more ridiculous that they think I care about how their weekend is. So now the result is you end up having to come up with more silly, funky things to say. And I'm almost embarrassed to say the most effective opening line I've come up with is, what would you rather be, a lion or a bear? More disturbing still is that so many women get it wrong. Of course you'd rather be a bear. And it's for many reasons, right? You know, the bear looks at the lion, he's like, sure, you're king of the jungle. I can't be bothered with all that headache of managing a kingdom. You got that, man. You know where you and I stand. Right? And the bear is so badass. If you ever walk up to a bear with a baseball bat, the bear doesn't flinch, he just stands right there. He's like, yeah, you hit me with that bat, you see what happens. And you know, similarly, a problem which everyone can identify with. If you've ever wanted drugs and you can't get a hold of your dealer, the bear doesn't have to deal with any of that shit. He just shows up in a city center or somewhere else where he's not wanted. Next thing you know, Animal Patrol is there, most powerful tranquilizer guns out there, and drops him right off in a nice wooded area. So my mom's a bit crazy. I love her with all my heart, but she's batshit crazy. She can't cope with like the most minor things going wrong. You know, I can't tell you how many times I actually said to her, "No use crying over spilled milk." So the main story that comes to my mind, to give you an example, is my brother brought his girlfriend, now wife, over for dinner. It was the first time our family was really meeting her. And my mom's cooking dinner. She gave my dad the responsibility of watching the lamb chops on the barbecue. So of course the lamb chops burnt, right? And my mom just fucking loses her shit. She starts in with the, I gave you one thing to do, one thing! And she goes on, you look to sabotage me at every turn. And my dad just kind of like looks at me and shrugs. He's like, why would I deliberately fuck up dinner? And then my mom, in her moment of anger, she actually hits my dad with a spatula. And that's not the fucked up part. The fucked up part is later on, we're talking, like me, my brother, and my future sister-in-law. And my sister-in-law, she's saying, that was pretty intense there with the spatula. And me and my brother both looked at each other confused for a moment and started like remembering, oh yeah, she did hit him with the spatula, didn't she? It didn't even register as an event with us. So anyway, my favorite part with my mom's yelling though is if she ever had the phone ring while she was in the middle of yelling at you, because you could see the conflict in her face. She really wanted to keep yelling at you, but at the same time it's tough to let the phone call go. So she'd compromise with herself. She'd answer the phone, but spend like the next 20 minutes bitching about you to her friend. And totally like as if you're not like standing like 10 feet away from her. So anyway, now not living at home, I miss the interaction with my parents, so I thought what I could do is program my mom's voice into a GPS. So now, normally when you miss your turn, it says like, when possible, please make a U-turn. Instead, mine would go like, ugh, you have no sense of direction, just like your father. I give you one thing to do, one thing. Anyway, that's my time, folks.
All right, I think everybody, that's Robbie Lowenstein, by the way, for cameras. So yeah, one more time.